Jasmine Crockett still conceals the meaning of Hot Wheels. The Texas congresswoman still won't apologize over making fun of Texas Governor Abbott's disability. Here's what she said to kick it off.
We in these hot-ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now.
Whoa.
And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot-ass mess, honey. So,
Now, she claims that she wasn't talking about Abbott's wheelchair at all. Yet she's mentioned Abbott's wheels before. In 2022, she posted Beto's rolling around the state. Where's Abbott rolling?
Ever watched what unfolds when Tyrus and Greg Gutfeld lock horns with Jasmine Crockett, who's certain she's about to seize the spotlight? She marched in armed with a reworked slogan and that self-assured grin that practically said, "This is my moment." But before she could even steady herself, her logic was sent into hiding. Gutfeld's quick-witted sarcasm came at her with the force of a runaway train, scattering her points in every direction. Then Tyrus stepped forward. His jabs weren't just playful. They landed with the kind of impact that could rattle the set itself. Suddenly, Crockett wasn't the fierce contender she'd imagined. She'd become the unintentional star of a comedy roast. Wrapped in the sharp-edged humor and mischievous charisma that Greg and Tyrus have perfected, every counterpunch she threw was met with an even sharper rebuttal. And that left everyone wondering, what exactly sparked this verbal crossfire in the first place?
She's so rotten, she wants migrants picking cotton. We present to you Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who made this shocking argument why America needs immigrants. Roll it, Alfred.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands.
When the wheels fall off.
You not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
Tyrus, I go to you for no particular reason.
Why does this scene keep replaying like a title fight everyone can't stop talking about? Simply put, once you witness it, you'll understand why it's still a running joke and a cautionary tale. Picture Jasmine Crockett in slow motion, an action movie explosion blazing behind her, her name practically begging for a spot on an 80s blockbuster poster. You'd expect someone with a name that bold to command attention instantly, armed with electric energy and lightning-fast comebacks. But in reality, she's on the political stage with little more than a broken pawn, circling aimlessly and baffled by her own losses. Viewers might assume she'd arrive brimming with fire, something daring, something sharp, something memorable. Instead, her words spill out like party streamers at an empty celebration, lost in a swirl of worn-out talking points. And when tempers rise, she resorts to finger-waving as though sheer motion might tip the balance in her favor. The trouble is, the public doesn't see a fighter. She seems oblivious to the fact that the real action is happening far beyond her curated online echo chamber, more like she's stuck in an endless video call, debating rebellion in theory while the world moves on. The longer she speaks, the clearer it becomes this isn't spontaneous political skill on display. It's an audition for a title she's already assumed she's earned.
Take it from there, go. I'm going to explain to you what happened. Same thing that happened on this show.
Yes.
She got the job. That was the get the job voice. Remember when I first met you? Good evening, Gutfeld.
Yes.
It's a real pleasure to be here. Oh, cool. Once I got the job, what it is, let's crack jokes. That's all it is. That's all it is. You know, it's just...
Now, Jasmine Crockett.
Right now, Jasmine Crockett's fame is about as fleeting as one of those TikTok trends everyone copies for a week before it vanishes. Her viral flash wasn't built on ideas or substance. It was simply a case of being in the right spot with the perfect look at just the right moment. She's mastered the art of delivering absolutely nothing new while wearing a face that suggests she's revealing something groundbreaking. It's a skill that might keep influencers relevant, but in politics, it crashes hard. Let's be honest. Her track record isn't exactly worth binge watching. If her career were a Netflix series, critics would be warning you to skip it to avoid disappointment. You'd hit play expecting twists, bold scenes, maybe even a few unforgettable moments. But instead, you'd get endless previews, recycled dialogue, and a storyline that never delivers the big reveal. When you stack up her actual achievements, it's like waiting for the main character to finally step on screen, only to realize they never do. Her entire brand leans on optics, practice stares into the camera, designer jackets with attitude, and that constant air of I'm running the show. But once the lights go off, the promises fade too, flash without follow through. And her tough talk on law and order, that's the oldest page in the political playbook. Sound stern, rail against crime, and hope no one notices the rest is just performance. To keep certain activist circles happy, her solution seems to be bending the very definition of crime itself. In other words, she wants the credit for being progressive without actually doing the hard work. The result? Both sides are left scratching their heads, unsure if she even knows which team she's playing for. It's like watching someone try to congratulate themselves while also asking a complete stranger to join in. Clumsy, uncomfortable, and nowhere near as impressive as they think. Calling this kind of confusing, half-baked policy stance leadership is like calling a riddle no one asked for a breakthrough strategy. Then there are the speeches, endless, meandering speeches. They land with all the impact of a soggy tortilla, packed with catchphrases, feel-good lines, and a sprinkling of trendy buzzwords. They give the illusion of depth. But the second you look closer, the substance disappears, leaving nothing but a thin mist where the big idea was supposed to be.
To get the job, you gotta leave the Negro at home and do what it is afternoon, and then once you get in, you can say whatever you want to say. Listen, everyone talks different with their crew and their people. Everyone has a different way of talking when they're with other people or whatever. She's too comfortable, and she thinks she's clever when she does it. But here's the cool part: somebody's writing that for her.
Yeah.
That's why she had to remember and look back, because apparently Hot Wheels she thought was going to be someone thought it was a wonderful joke and it was going to do well. So she set it up, but she doesn't read good because she's like, and this, and then she said to Hot Wheels, and as soon as she said it, it didn't get the reaction that she thought it would.
At times, it's hard to tell whether she's campaigning for public office or auditioning to headline a mindfulness retreat. Either way, the end result is the same. You walk away wondering what she actually said and why you spent the time listening. You half expect a namaste to cap off every sentence, and honestly, it wouldn't feel out of place. The delivery is so airy and weightless that it drifts past without leaving a mark. But weak commentary is only the appetizer. The real spectacle is her lineup of progressive initiatives. Commendable in theory, disastrous in execution. Take her impassioned push for criminal justice reform. On paper, it's framed as fairness, compassion, and second chances. Strip away the warm buzzwords, though, and it's like trying to fix a leaky roof with glitter glue. Pretty for a moment, but useless when it matters. Helping people is admirable. Undermining the integrity of the justice system in the process? That's not reform. It's recklessness dressed up as progress. With a PR team in tow, it's chaos dressed as strategy. Then there's the so-called legislative work. Each bill arrives wrapped in flashy titles and glittery talking points like novelty favors handed out at an exclusive party. They make a loud splash when unveiled, but within seconds, the excitement fades, leaving you wondering why you ever paid attention. It's all show, plenty of sizzle, nothing solid, symbolic gestures parading as groundbreaking reform. She's mastered the art of grabbing headlines, but when it comes to passing laws that actually hold up, her success rate is about as stable as a sandcastle at high tide. If the goal is to make a lasting mark, here's a thought. Build something that will outlive a trending hashtag or a fleeting viral post. That's the difference between spectacle and substance.
You not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
Tyrus, I go to you for no particular reason. Is she making any point there?
Like this makes me wish my mom made different father choices.
Then there's that unmistakable air of self-importance, as though fate itself has tapped her to lead a grand revolution. But here's the truth. Her most revolutionary talent is speaking at length without ever landing on a concrete point. Impressive in its own way, but hardly what voters thought they were signing up for. Her real expertise lies in the online arena. It's practically a masterclass in virtue signaling, perfectly filtered selfies, captions that seem profound until you realize they say nothing, and hashtags neatly aligned with every trending cause. She's quick to join the chorus calling out others, yet rarely turns the lens inward to assess her own record. It's political commentary from the sidelines, flashy on the replay, but nowhere near the actual play. It's like watching a soap opera where the lead character never develops, yet constantly complains about the script while expecting applause for delivering the same tired lines. And then there's Tyrus. He doesn't just roast, he detonates. The exchange between them was so intense, you'd think Crockett had just tried to sidestep him with some hidden political cheat code, only to get caught in the blast.
Right. This is why when white people write black slang, weird happens. Yeah. And this is what happens. Well, like, if I wanted to get ethnic on somebody, I wouldn't call Joe. It'd be like, hey, Joe, write me some hood. No offense, Tyrus, I get right to it. Gee Willikers, that's not the guy. What? That doesn't sound like Joe Mackey?
It was like watching a featherweight step into the ring thinking it was a ballet recital, only to find themselves trading blows with a heavyweight champion. While one side danced for style points, the other landed hits that could end the match. Crockett's defeat didn't stop with the final bell. The real damage came from the collision between cold, hard facts and the glaring contradictions in her own stance. She claims to be fighting for the people, yet her record suggests she's been more loyal to hashtags than to the truth. This is the trap of the modern politician. Snap the perfect selfie, drip feed enough involvement to look engaged, perfect the optics, and hope no one notices the scoreboard. But with Tyrus and Greg across the table, hashtags and filters don't save you. Under that kind of spotlight, the grand gestures start looking less like leadership and more like an expensive Instagram shoot. And here's the kicker. For all her fiery speeches about overhauling the system, Jasmine Crockett has truly mastered only one game, the art of political self-preservation. She's like the student who eagerly volunteers for every committee, signs up for every project, and then never delivers a single completed assignment. All volume, no grit, plenty of chatter, zero follow-through. Crockett's growth strategy is pure flash without the foundation, and it'll take a real leader to turn fiery speeches into tangible wins. Her approach to politics is pure theater, performance over planning, spectacle over execution, and far more style than measurable results. She talks about change as if it were a limited edition drop you could pre-order online, complete with influencer-style unboxing videos. And when she turns to justice, it's as though she's marketing a boutique label. Trendy hashtags, sleek presentation, and rapid shipping. The only problem? Once you open the package, you find nothing but an expired return policy and recycled talking points.
So, Dana, Governor Hot Wheels, she claims that had nothing to do with the fact that he actually moves by wheels in a wheelchair, and he's good looking.
Her cleanup was worse. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen. It was super dumb. So basically she's saying, I didn't do it. And even I did do it, though, we're the victim.
At the core, Crockett's politics aren't about systemic change. They're about perfecting the image. And once you start examining the receipts, the picture gets even worse. Every other sentence is sprinkled with buzzwords like community-led solutions, structural reform, and equity, tossed in the way someone might add seasoning to disguise a completely different dish. It's political stagecraft, uplifting on the surface, but the illusion falls apart the moment you ask, all right, but how are you actually going to make that happen? Her version of justice is the political equivalent of rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. She's not working to fix the leak. She's too busy debating what color those chairs should be. One day she's tweeting about defunding the police. By the end of the week, she's pitching common sense crime solutions. Meanwhile, voters who truly want safer streets, stronger communities, and measurable results are left scrolling through her feed, realizing they're just getting another round of well-packaged contradictions. Consider yourself warned. Uncertainty about your own stance isn't exactly a sign of genuine common sense. One moment, Crockett casts herself as the fearless outsider, ready to bring down a corrupt system. The next, she's smiling for photos with party insiders and anti-establishment groups that pop up as frequently as coffee shops. This isn't clever strategy, it's a pattern people are starting to notice. It's the kind of political identity crisis that makes you stop and wonder, is Jasmine Crockett a leader with a clear vision, or just a political sampler plate, grabbing whatever's trending? For the moderates, she dishes out a serving of tough on crime For the progressive crowd, she sprinkles in some talk of systemic reform. And for the activist base, she ladles on promises to defund the police. But when it's all on the plate, the contradictions clash and nothing works together to create something stronger.
Jasmine Crockett's got another hot take. No blacks and whites on a wedding cake. The Democrats' new chosen one, Jasmine Crockett, is in the news again for an old clip where she attacked Florida Rep. Byron Donalds for marrying a white woman. Roll it, Bertha.
Or literally, it's because you married a white woman and so you think that they'll whitewash you.
That's not very woke, is it?
Next comes the Bermuda Triangle, better known as the place where Crockett's messages disappear. If her political career were a Netflix series, it wouldn't be a drama or a comedy. It would be a string of paradoxes and cliffhangers. Each time she speaks, you expect a clear, thoughtful answer. Instead, you're left staring at the screen thinking, wait, what's the point here? Is she for reform or against it? More law enforcement or less? Trying to pin down her stance is like solving a Rubik's Cube in the dark while someone keeps spinning it in your hands. And she seems perfectly fine with that confusion. In fact, she thrives on it. Ambiguity lets her change course without ever admitting she's done it. Her talking points often read like they were lifted straight from an online quiz. Which progressive group are you? On paper, her plan to improve juvenile justice sounds admirable, even noble, but look closer and there's no real roadmap for how it would function in neighborhoods already plagued by crime. No structure, no specifics, just branding. Her politics are built on hashtags, not hard policy, and hashtags don't build safer streets or stronger trust in communities. It's like slapping a Band-Aid on a broken leg, giving it a thumbs up, and walking away as if the job's done.
Him is that he is a hot mess, honey.
Of course, Crockett now claims Hot Wheels was about shipping migrants out of the state. Don't you get that? Not the governor's condition. If only there was video that perfectly encapsulates the liberal inability to land a lick on MAGA. Turns out we have one. Roll it, Bjorn.
He's a racist. How can I be racist? He's racist. I hope you enjoyed
Never get tired of that.
To be fair, Crockett knows her way around a podium. Her speeches sound like a 30-minute remix of the most motivational lines pulled from a month's worth of TED Talks. The cadence, tone, and keyword choices could easily be lifted from a corporate diversity handbook. But the moment you start looking for actual workable solutions, the page goes blank. Listening to her is like watching an inspirational billboard spring to life, uplifting in appearance, but hollow when it comes to fixing real problems. No matter how polished the delivery, tone, rhythm, gestures included, platitudes alone don't solve anything. Meanwhile, some of the biggest issues in her own district remain untouched. Communities in need of real safety measures, schools desperate for funding, streets overdue for repairs, all left gathering dust while she's busy talking about justice, reform, and fairness. This is the crux of it. People want more than advocacy. They want concrete steps, visible progress, and real change in their neighborhoods, not just photo ops and press appearances that vanish into the news cycle. It's not just about catchy sound bites for the evening news or hashtags designed to trend overnight. Crockett's focus seems fixed on polishing her political resume for the big campaign she clearly sees coming. And that's the problem. She's not building for her constituents. She's building for the market she's selling herself to. If you expected Jasmine Crockett to have an impressive track record on core issues like economic growth or education, brace yourself. The reality is as frustrating as a movie trailer that ends up being better than the film itself. Her playbook hasn't changed. Splashy headlines to grab attention, ambitious promises in the press release, and nothing concrete when it's time to deliver. Voters want the trophy to go to the most effective lawmaker, but she's playing a political game show where the grand prize goes to whoever sounds the most inspiring. Spoiler, she's not winning that one. And when the dust settles, it's clear her greatest talent isn't in policymaking, but in rhetoric.
Of course, Crockett isn't the only Democrat who's opposed to interracial marriage, or else more Democrats would have voted for this one. Racist! Tyrus, I go to you for no apparent reason. Do you have an opinion on this? Or should I move on to somebody?
No, it has to come from me.
Yes.
Okay. None of y'all are qualified. not just for one thing. I'm mad at Charmaine the God because he should have kicked her out. See, the problem is that we are allowing our own culture to be openly racist and get away with it. Now, if a white person is offended by that, and they should be.
Crockett's gift for elegant phrasing can make even the vaguest ideas sound like bold visions for the future. But listen closely and you'll notice she rarely ventures into specifics. How exactly will the funding work? What measurable benefits will communities see? And how will she avoid the same pitfalls that have derailed similar policies before? Those answers never seem to make it past the soundbite stage. The result is a string of speeches that can inspire in the moment, but leave audiences no closer to tangible solutions. Her political approach is like receiving an expensive gift box, beautifully wrapped, topped with a perfect ribbon, only to open it and find nothing inside. Ah, the rhetoric. If Jasmine Crockett's speeches were a drink, they'd be a fizzy blend of optimism, buzzwords, and a dash of "we'll see." With the smoothness of someone delivering lines at a political TEDx, she drops terms like intersectionality and community empowerment. In the moment, it all feels profound, maybe even visionary. But here's the catch. She rarely anchors her grand promises with hard evidence, no timelines, no figures, no actionable roadmap. It's like splurging on an artisan coffee topped with intricate latte art, only to take a sip and realize it's just lukewarm milk with no caffeine kick. That, unfortunately, is politics in its purest form. Performance often outweighs performance. It's less about what you do and more about how confidently you sell the idea, how loudly you repeat it, and how flawlessly you curate the image. On that front, Crockett is a natural. Her Twitter feed is a masterclass in political stagecraft, a continuous stream of carefully chosen causes, viral-ready one-liners, and perfectly timed photo ops. Scroll through it and you'd think she's everywhere at once, leading every fight that matters.
They say something, it's like it's not the same thing. But if you say that, and another brother looks at you and goes, "Man, you wrong for that. And I don't want you on my show. Get the hell out." Because I'm telling you right now, if I was not on the show, which happens sometimes, and someone was sitting in his chair and he was complaining about black men this and black that, and they shouldn't be here. And you know what happens when a white woman marries a black guy? You would not have seen that guy in the next segment. He would have kicked his ass off because you're not going to talk about somebody that I care about like that or another person like that. That's the problem.
Crockett has perfected the trick of looking relentlessly busy while delivering little of substance, a skill that in today's politics can keep you in office far longer than it should, at least until voters stop reading the hashtags and start checking the receipts. It's a performance art in itself, one worthy of a talent trophy. But Greg Gutfeld and Tyrus aren't in the business of handing out participation awards. Their critiques pull back the curtain like the Wizard of Oz, exposing the levers, smoke, and mirrors behind her talking points. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's brutal. It's easy. And frankly, by leaning so heavily on image over results, Crockett practically invited it. They dismantle her proposals piece by piece, pointing out the contradictions, the unkept promises, and the gaping holes in her logic, all with the kind of comedic precision that makes the truth sting even more. Take her stance on neighborhood safety. One day, she pushes baffling measures that even policy veterans can't untangle. The next, she's a hardliner on security. Her sweeping reform ideas often sound less like carefully crafted legislation and more like late-night improv with a magic 8-ball.
We let too much slide because that's embarrassing. So what you're basically saying is Barack Obama was not the first black president now. So that means that Donald Trump is the first black president, according to you.
Yeah.
So at some point, and listen, I have been with every shade of woman on the planet. I started out black, and then I went Pacific Islander, Asian, had a little Hispanic phase, and then I ran out of to do and ended up with a white one. That's just how it happens. But they're all, I'm telling you, they all bitch the same, they all take your money the same, they all don't sleep with you all the time the same, and they all leave you the same.
In the end, Crockett's entire platform rests on speeches, photo ops, and a steady stream of hashtags. Strip those away and the illusion collapses. She has the crisis management instincts of a seasoned politician, but moves so quickly to deflect that she never truly owns her decisions. It's like watching an endless game of political dodgeball. ducking accountability, sidestepping criticism, and fiercely guarding the carefully polished image of the people's champion. The problem? That image has the credibility of a $3 bill. Crockett is a walking oxymoron, a candidate who promises the moon, but delivers static, armed with all the right buzzwords, yet unwilling or unable to turn them into action. She talks a lot, but the pauses between substance are vast. There's plenty of energy, but no plan, plenty of noise, but no direction. That's why Tyrus and Greg Gutfeld's takedown of her goes beyond satire. It's not just comedy, it's a hard reality check. They don't merely lampoon her, they expose the yawning gap between her polished brand and her tangible results. The truth is simple. If you spend your career recycling catchphrases, hiding behind hashtags, and dodging tough questions, you don't move forward. You stall. Real progress isn't earned through performance. It's won through hard work, tough choices, and the courage to confront uncomfortable truths head on. Crockett still isn't here, and under the current trajectory, she may never be. She's not at the level her rhetoric pretends she is, and perhaps she never will be. While she's perfecting her next Instagram-ready pose or drafting another broad press release-friendly reform that wilts on contact with reality, the rest of us are stuck watching the political version of a reality show. Big promises of chaos, conflict, and revelation, only to get filler episodes. And here's the real danger. It's not just her problem. When any politician chooses optics over outcomes and hashtags over hard work, we all pay the price. Real issues remain unsolved, communities stay stuck, and the political process itself gets reduced to little more than a stage act for social media applause. So if you're tired of the smoke shows, the empty speeches, and the influencer politician routine, here's your call to action. Demand receipts, not retweets. Because the moment we stop holding them to account, the performance never ends, and neither does the stall.